Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, the warm-up fixture between the visiting West Indies side and the Pakistan Shaheens, of course. Imam ul Haq is leading this Pakistan Shaheen side. A lot of promising talent in this Shaheen side as well. And for West Indies, I think it's a great opportunity that they get a side game now, of course, to acclimatize to the conditions as well. Although that their matches are going to be played in Multan, but the practice match obviously is being held in Islamabad. So we'll talk about that in detail as well. And like I said, it's a good opportunity for many youngsters to make amends who are part of the Shaheen side, because Shaheens is the pathway to Pakistan cricket. So I think they've got a good opportunity to make it to the Pakistan Test squad as well. Then of course we move on and we discuss some more particular things on Sports Extra. We tell you about the ICC officials' visit to the National Stadium Karachi, with the delegation of course briefed about the Champions Trophy arrangements. It included representatives from broadcasters and logistics. Upgrade works of the stadium will be completed by 25th of this month, while the Champions Trophy, of course, is scheduled to begin from the 19th of February till the 20th of March. So this was a very, very important visit. It gives a lot of insight as well. And I think majority what we're seeing is that everything is up and ready. And on the 25th, obviously, it's the official handing over of the stadiums as well. Then, of course, we move on. We discuss cricketers who have been honored by the Pakistan Cricket Board that have announced 4 more inductions into the Hall of Fame. They include players like Inzamam ul Haq, Saeed Anwar, Misbah ul Haq, and the great Mushtaq Mohammad Saab as well, who has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Of course, these cricketers are our ambassadors as well. That was said by the chairman Pakistan Cricket Board, Mr. Mohsin Naqvi. And I think some great players, some great history amongst these 4 who have been inducted into the Pakistan Cricket Board Hall of Fame as well. Then we move on. We discuss the ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup. Pakistan team will leave from Karachi to Malaysia tonight. They will be departing from Karachi after their training and practice has been completed to participate in the tournament. Komal Khan is leading the Pakistan side. World Cup, of course, is going to be played in Malaysia from 18th of January onwards. That's what we're discussing on the show in detail. Time now to introduce our guest joining us in studios. First of all, it's cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenting our sports expert, Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, Asif. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by sports expert and fellow anchor, Syed Mohammad Awais. Assalamu alaikum, Awais. How are you? I'm very well. Thank you for joining us as well. And also joining us is senior sports journalist Abdul Jabbar Faisal. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
I am fine.
Now to discuss things in detail, of course, we start off with Pakistan Shaheens versus the West Indies. It's an important practice match. Imam ul Haq is leading the Pakistan Shaheen side, but obviously his exclusion and inclusion in the Pakistan national side have been a question mark. On which basis was he removed from the test side and never brought back? But now he's in the Pakistan Shaheen. So Asif, how are you highlighting this?
Well, I think that it's a really important game for the youngsters, as you were telling in your intro, and especially Umar bin Yusuf and Hurera averaging 48 in his first class career, and same with Umar bin Yusuf averaging more than 40, 42, 43 is the average. So I think that both of these players, if they could perform well, I think that they will get a place in the national team, because everyone knows that we're struggling in the opening department, and Saim Ayub is not there. Shan Masood is not good with the bat. Even people are criticizing over his captaincy. Rightly said by you that what was the reason that why we have dropped Imam ul Haq. We'll ask this question, but you know, something was going on that he was leaking the news of the dressing room, and he was feeding to some senior journalists about the Pakistan team, that what's going on. If that's the reason, then Pakistan Cricket Board should come up with this straightforward stance that it's going on, and will take strict action, because it is the breach of contract. And second thing, I'm sure that Muhammad Abbas his inclusion will be a very good in the fast bowling department, because everyone is depending on the spinning on our spinners, because the spinning track will be expecting once again in Multan. Rest, I think that West Indies, though their team is struggling, but we're in the same position. We lost against South Africa, we lost against Bangladesh, we lost against Australia, we only won against England, courtesy some fantastic fans.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be a very important series to look forward to as well, that we do talk about. But Awais, I think overall perspective of Pakistan Shaheens is very important now, considering it's the direct pathway to Pakistan cricket. And this is, of course, another important side match where a lot of youngsters can once again make a name for themselves.
I'm happy for Pakistan Shaheens, because if you just go a little bit back early, when you had many side matches against international teams which were touring Pakistan, you had got many guys who represented Pakistan from that. I remember many of you could talk about Prime Minister 11 versus any team which was traveling over here, because you got many cricket in Pakistan. So it's a good side that you need to have many matches for Pakistan Shines, and that players who actually are youngsters who have performed regularly in the domestic structure are part of this, because it's an important, again, I would say the backup players, they really need to be start to make the backup players right now, because if you just see the calendar going on of cricket is so much that you really need some backup players, because every time players can go through fatigue over here. But some, I would still say that some top class, specifically the domestic structure, the guy who performed really well, the top wicket taker of the domestic structure, I guess his name was from Peshawar, his name is Wakasi, is not the part of the part of the Pakistan Shines. That was a worry sign for me, but good to see Mohammad Ali, because everyone has been speaking a lot about that youngster who was in the under-19 team, because the way he performed in the domestic structure, the final match, even he's there for Pakistan Shines. He has got a bright future for Pakistan, but everyone will be looking at Imamul Haq, because the situation right now for Pakistan test side, because as an opener's time of Ayum is not there. Everyone is talking about Imamul Haq because his average is really good. He had been a great opener for Pakistan, so it would be really important how he leads the Pakistan Shines over here. Whereas talking about West Indies team, I mean, they're touring Pakistan after a long period of time. If we just talk about the squad, they just have 2 to 3 players who actually can play an anchor kind of a role. But many of the players are new faces for West Indies team in the test squad. In this kind of arena, I would say, where you play in the Asian conditions, it won't be easy for West Indies, because they are more flamboyant kind of cricketers. They are not that ones who can actually come in the middle order and play a big innings for you. But it will be an interesting match to watch on, because they have got a left-arm spinner, and Pakistan has a history of love story between the right-hand and left-arm combination. So it's going to be a tricky situation for Pakistan, but Pakistan, I hope they'll come back strong. Multan wicket, I might see again a spin track over there.
Well, I think we're bound to see a spin track. That's what sources do tell us. But Jabbar Faisal, the importance of this side match, and then also what kind of pitches can we expect in Multan, traditionally speaking, this time of the year?
I think this is a very important match for Pakistan as well as for the West Indies. West Indies squad only 3 big names, big player experience: Captain Bradwaite, De Silva, and Cameron, who played maximum test matches. Bradwaite played 96, 86 by Cameron, and rest of all are 13, 15, 17, and couple of players are just will go for debut. It is very important for them to mix up in the weather of Pakistan. And secondly, Pakistan team have in the last we visited Zimbabwe, Australia, and South Africa. There are 2 spaces, one on batter and an opener. This is a good chance for the Omar and Imam to make the place playing 11. This is very important for these guys. Other than the West Indies also brought good players, some spinner too, 2 left-arm spinners, and I think they are well aware about the situation of Pakistan, and Pakistan will try to trap them again with the spinners. This shows us all the scenario, and I think it's very important to learn for the West Indies young player who came here first time.
Well, certainly, I think it's a great opportunity for them as well. But Usman, this is a very important side game for the West Indies, of course, but some players in the Pakistan Shaheens have got a great opportunity once again to impress the selectors. But once we move on to Multan, what can we expect from the pitches?
I see the warm-up matches are always important for the team that is representing the President's 11 or the Shaheens as we speak over here. If you can get a good score or you get a couple of good wickets, a good performance can actually fetch you named in the playing 11 in the first test. And the Pakistani youngsters have a good chance to do well against this West Indies side, which itself is not very experienced apart from a couple of players. And of recently, West Indies team has been slightly less to what standards they have set in the past. So I think the younger players have a good chance of getting into the Pakistan side. But as far as the other players are concerned who were dropped recently, can try a trick or two and get back into this team. Although I'm not a huge fan of players coming back into the side after they have been dropped, that too after a very short term. I think once they are dropped, it should be the other players who are supposed to get chance so that they can prove their mettle. Because once you are dropped for poor performances, but that doesn't mean that you have to come back and the other players can't get a chance. But I'm talking about the second question, what we can expect from the first test. Certainly, Pakistan has uncoded a formula that is having drier pitches with 2 excellent world-class spinners that single-handedly won them the series against a world-class England side. And I think with all due respect to this West Indies side, they are no England. So Pakistan should start as firm favourites, but they have a good couple of spinners, which actually, to my knowledge, England team lacked. So the Pakistani batsmen can have a test or two, and they were caught out a couple of times against England as well, but they were just the better side on a spin performing deck. So Pakistan will certainly start as favourite, but Pakistan in general needs to look this as a long-term project, not just a two-off series. They need to work and build a team for test which can purely focus on test cricket, and they need to secure their players who are going to perform in the Champions Trophy and let the longer version specialists get their chances and let them raise their hand and decode a future for themselves in Pakistan's international test team.
Well, I think the consistency is something that is always talked about. But I often say that anyone who wants to play Test cricket for Pakistan has got a very thin corridor of opportunity. The fact is that we play a very less number of Test matches. So, you know, the criteria or the scale on which we try to rate them is very, very stressful. And I think sometimes it's injustice as well. That, you know, we were rating them on the basis of just 1-2 games, but we're forced to because that's the only amount of cricket Pakistan is playing. But, you know, Asif, if we look at this Shaheen's game as well, and a lot of these first-class players like Huraira and, you know, Mark Sadakat this season was brilliant. So we saw him as well. Ali Raza was brilliant in the bowling. Azan Awais was brilliant. So, you know, if you really want these names to progress, then if Pakistan doesn't have that much of share of Test cricket, then these side games become very, very important. But then what is also important at the same time, that these players are given maximum opportunity in these games.
Well, from last 3-4 years, we didn't have Pakistan A tours, but, you know, right after Mohsin Naqvi has taken the charge as chairman Pakistan Cricket Board, he has announced these Pakistan Shaheen series. Recently, Bangladesh visited Pakistan. Pakistan Shaheens went to Australia. These series and these kind of tours are really, really important for your emerging cricketers, because we often talk that the players, when they play under 19, region under 19, they don't have any sort of opportunity, because, you know, then if you want to play first class cricket, there's gap of 3 to 4 years. So in that time, definitely these kind of series and these kind of tournaments, that would be really helpful, as Emerging Asia Cup or you know, Youth Asia Cup, these kind of series. But Ahmed, as I would like to give my comment about Usman Bhai's statement that what's our plan, what we are discussing and what we are planning for the future, because this is a very short-term policy that brings fans, give chance to chances to your vintage spinners so they could perform well, because they are so good in first-class cricket and they played plenty of cricket. They have enough experience, Noman and Sajid, so they could put any opposition in trouble. But the question is, either will we qualify for the World Test Championship for the next time or not? That's the point. Either we are going to make a plan of long-term policy. So for me, the answer is no. I think that recently Pakistan Cricket Board has announced some strikers, the power strikers, power hitters camp right after the you know, first class season, and we got some, I think, 30 names there. 20 to 30 names there.
But I have a very important question in this aspect. Developing nations around the world, cricketing nations, including Australia, India, to a fact, yes, England, New Zealand, South Africa, of course, who take the lead in players who have striking abilities. Have they ever been to a strike force camp or something like that? Has there any time been a camp?
It happens in Pakistan. The power hitting coach, the power striking camp, we only could hear these things in Pakistan. In Australia, we have never heard these kind of things, seen your neighbors. In India, they got plenty of power hitters, Surya Kumar Yadav, Pandya, and you can take some more names.
A lot of these who are not up there right now, even Sanju Samson, and
yes,
you know, they're very good.
Tilak Verma,
Tilak Verma
also
yes, very good, yes.
So I think that they don't have these kind of power hitters, or they don't have that you know, brain who always talk about that we require some power hitters. Whoever thinking that these bringing into the camp these kind of players, so who they could hit anywhere, guys, in international cricket, you cannot find these kind of bowlers who you actually you know, play in domestic cricket. So I think that these kind of ideas won't help you in Test cricket. These kind of ideas won't help you even if you want proper power hitters in international cricket as well. For that, I am sticking towards my point. You require proper players who could play all formats. Who could play all formats.
Avais, as a coach yourself, what are we looking forward to this Strike Force camp? What are we trying to do?
Why you're not asking him about Usman?
I'm sorry.
He should be leading this camp, I'm sure. Yes,
No,
Avais.
there are two things. I mean, if you, what even Asif has said about the Strike Force camp, I mean, if you just talk about many nations, specifically I will talk about the non-test nations, they do have this kind of camps, but it's not called the Strike Force camp. It's basically called, as you can say, a power hitting camp, because where you got the players who bat at number 5 and 6 position, who are there to actually, these guys are for T20 specifically, or for T10, because unfortunately T10 even has dominated the cricket. But the thing is that when you have a power strike hitting camp, or whatever camp it is, Ahmed bhai, that comes to the your wickets or the domestic structure which is played in Pakistan. This set of players which you have called away, it's a good sign. At least you have got something in your mind that we need to prepare for the T20 World Cup. But when you talk about a domestic structure, does your wicket support to be a power hitting batsman? It does not. I mean, like I told you, if you just talk about your Test cricket, international cricket, your coach comes up, your think tank mind comes up, says that we need to prepare a spinning track. Let's see what team wins up over here. When you travel to domestic structure, you have got a green top wicket in this season where bowlers are dominating, the medium paces are dominating. So you need to have one stance for that. Then you can produce a power hitting guy. Unfortunately, in domestic structure, when we talk about Pakistan domestic specifically, there's no incentive kind of a name for a power hitter or a strike batsman, I would say. If you talk about the neighboring country, there in Ranji Trophy right now, if you just search out, they have implemented a game plan that's called strike rate, which actually maintains a batsman who maintains the strike rate. If I didn't study that briefly, they've got some plus point over there. So that helps to get that strike rate batsman. Indeed, we don't do that. I mean, these camps have been even organizing from many years, but unfortunately, again, I would say, many of the camps, tell me one thing, where these guys are, then after that, they're never seen in the Pakistan team. Where do they go? They just disappear. So that's what roadmap we need to make over here. But one thing is good, that at least the Pakistan Cricket Board chairman specifically, even the cricket board, are thinking way ahead, because we have got the T20 World Cup coming up. It's one year after. So at least you'll have that in your mind that, okay, fine, it's a T20 World Cup. We need to prepare our team from today, because it's unfortunate in Pakistan. Even I'm sitting up over here, we are sitting, and still we are not sure who your opening department would be in the Champions Trophy, who will be your pace battery for Champions Trophy, because we never prepare the tournament 6 to 7 months. We don't have a long-term planning. Secondly, if you talk about the Test cricket, how can we qualify for the champions? I mean, Test Championship. From past the Test series after this, we will be playing after 14 months. Your foreign, the FTP, I would say, the think tank which sits for the FTP, they really need to, I mean, discuss with the ICC. I mean, come on, Pakistan has not played a 5-test match series from such a long period of time. Yeah, Sri Lanka has not played, even not Bangladesh. It's just India, Australia, I would say, they play 5-test match series. Why does not Pakistan play that? How can I play? I know many of the judgments have been wrong, but one thing, if you talk about the Test cricket, how can I judge a player from just 2 test matches? I mean, he needs to get a little bit long run, but it's unfortunate we just played 2 test matches, then there's a big gap, then it's after 14 months. So domestic structure guy who's playing a 4-day cricket, you tell me, a youngster specifically, how would he be interested in the test match? He knows that it's a long period of gap. Come on, leave it. I need to go into the T20 because there's finances, there's everything. Because again, at the back of your mind, there are 2 things. I mean, you need to run your home. You need to look after yourself. If it's a 14 months gap in between, you just disappear. How would you focus on a test cricket then?
Well, certainly, I think that does become the need of the hour as well. But at the same time, there are more developments on behalf of the Pakistan Cricket Board. Today, a delegation of ICC also visited National Stadium, Karachi as well, and a lot is being talked about Pakistan's preparation. I think at one point, we as a nation, have to get our priorities very right. I have said this on multiple platforms. I will say this again, that the Champions Trophy happening is not just the responsibility of the Pakistan Cricket Board or the ICC. The responsibility is now on each and every Pakistani to make this tournament a success. We're still stuck in finding any sort of negativity. We're criticizing the stadiums, oh, they're not ready. I mean, it's a record time in which they'll be ready on the 25th once they're handed over. So, Usman, I think all in all, everything, Pakistan is set to host the Champions Trophy. A lot of credit needs to be given to Chairman Pakistan Cricket Board and whoever's been involved in this entire process. Even for the fact that I heard the Chief Commissioner Islamabad the other day mentioning that, they're in the process of now finalizing Islamabad's first international stadium in the next 2 years.
That is unfortunate, and this has been the mantra of our media and our people. See, this is a tournament which we have been hosting after a very, very long time, and ICC Champions Trophy 50 over tournament is a huge plus for Pakistan cricket, especially for what we have gone through. And there was this dryness of international cricket in Pakistan, and what efforts were made to bring cricket back to Pakistan. I'm talking about international players and international cricket. So once the PCB has got into this efforts of developing stadiums, and they're into the process of bringing a very, very successful tournament to Pakistan and international cricket community, I think it is high time that each and every Pakistani backs them up and they play their own role in making this tournament a success. It just not only depends on the chairman himself or the PCB, it also depends on the administration, the federal government, the provincial governments, the people of Pakistan, and more specifically the fans of cricket in Pakistan. Also the media, they need to bring this forward, that how beautifully Pakistan has decorated their cities, how beautifully the arrangements have been made, how welcoming are Pakistani people, and how much cricket is being loved in Pakistan. I read a couple of comments from international cricketers who have been to Pakistan, and they have been talking so well of Pakistan. It is why only us or our media who talks a bit ill and they want to find a dark spot in a white paper. Why don't you talk about the whole white paper, and why you want to talk about only that dark spot? I think it is very unfortunate, and we are just a couple of days away, or a month and few days away from a very, very big cricketing extravaganza that is going to take place in Pakistan. And we all should come together and take responsibility as an individual, as an official, as an officer, or as an administrator to make this tournament a huge success.
Well, certainly. I think, Jawad Saab, the condition of the stadiums right now, I know it's the Champions Trophy that we're focusing on, but this has been for the very first time in Pakistan. If you look at the history of these stadiums, that they are being upgraded. It's a moment to celebrate for every Pakistani to host the Champions Trophy.
Actually, I think the work is going on and that will be completed in time. But just my personal view, they started a bit late. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of other issues. That's why people and spectators are also not expecting. Maybe when you change, country change, a lot of other things were there. But anyhow, they started the work, they are doing well. I hope they will complete it in time. One thing I will talk about, West was saying about the infrastructure. Australia, England and New Zealand, the team is being selected according to their system. We don't have system. Here in Pindi, there was a few years back, National T20 Cup. Squad was announced, best bowler, best fielder, best wicket keeper was not the part of that squad. This is unfortunate. Our domestic system should be strong. There is a need to concentrate on that thing. When a player will realize that he will go from this system this way, then everyone will work hard to reach at a destination.
Well, certainly. Yeah, I think it will make a clear difference as well. West, now Pakistan Cricket Board has also announced 4 new inductions in the Hall of Fame. Fantastic names and careers. All of them have got a great history. They include the great Mustaq Mohammad Saab as well. Then we've got Inzamam ul Haq. Misbah ul Haq is amongst them as well. So how do you see this development? And of course, Saeed Anwar Saab.
I was very happy for Saeed Anwar. I mean, the legacy what he carried for Pakistan specifically, literally till date, I would say you never can see that kind of a classy opener what he had for Pakistan. The way he served Pakistan, unfortunately due to that tragic accident, he had to leave the cricket, but he has really been a great ambassador. Have met him once or twice. I mean, just sitting with him, literally, Ahmed Bhai, he's a full encyclopedia of cricket. I mean, when you talk to him, soft-hearted, the way he explains to the youngsters. I remember Babar Azam was struggling, and he was with us over here, and he was telling what weaknesses he can, just how he can resolve it. So, I mean, he's more into, I would say, again, he wants to teach the youngsters, but a good thing about Pakistan, at least you need to remember your legends, I mean, who have served the game of Pakistan, who have played for Pakistan. Inzamam, I mean, he has been a brilliant, prospect in the middle order for Pakistan Test cricket, has served for Pakistan. So it's a great initiative that Pakistan cricket needs to remember this, because they are the heroes of Pakistan who have served, and obviously the youngsters in cricket specifically, they do want to become, they are the idols, I would say, in cricket. So it's a great initiative of the Pakistan Cricket Board.
Well, certainly. Wes has rightly put it that, it's a great initiative at the same time. You need to give respect to your former cricketers as well. But Asif, a lot of history amongst these 4 players for Pakistan.
Well, as Awais was mentioning about legend Saeed Anwar, of course that he was such a fantastic and classy opener, and we didn't have an opener like Saeed Anwar. And of course that whenever we talk about the opening batting pair, Amir Suhail, Saeed Anwar, these 2 players They were the icon for the youngsters. And now when we are including them in the Hall of Fame, the criteria is really interesting. You know that when we talk about that, some former men and women cricketers, they sit together, and including some of the media personalities and big names. And when they decide, they don't tell to Pakistan Cricket Board. They just only tell to a specific person that we're taking this name. And when they're including names like Sayyid Anwar, Inzamamul Haq, Mushtaq Mohammed, and Misbah-ul Haq. I was just reading one thing that Inzamam was so happy after announcing after the announcement of his name, and what he said that it reminds me 148 against England in Lords. It reminds me 100 against New Zealand. It reminds me my century on 100 test at Bangalore and the victory of Pakistan. So you know that when you bring these kind of things, so definitely the motivation level is high, definitely.
Well, cricket is an emotional sport, but because you mentioned, there have been a lot of moments where, strong men have cried over cricket.
Yeah.
And I must highlight one of them was Inzamam's retirement. It was a very tragic World Cup for Pakistan.
Yeah.
You lost Bob Woolmer, Pakistan lost to Ireland, and then Inzamam, was seen crying when he was walking off. And I remember that is one emotional moment that goes in that nostalgic memory. And I just saw a very beautiful piece from Inzamamul Haq where he's asked a question in an interview of what happened on that day. And he said, I was crying because, I thought to myself for once that I'll never be able to come on this field again as a player. And he said, it is our livelihood. What we forget as fans is that these cricketers are not just there for our entertainment. This is all that they know. And Inzamam highlighted that, since a very young age, all he knew was to play cricket. In the field, he represented Pakistan. He was on the stadium, and once he knew that this is the last time he's coming out to play and he'll never be able to play for Pakistan again, he said that's what broke me as a man as well. So I think we really need to, all of us. Yes, Asif, you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to add in this regard. This is what I heard and I watched from Sachin Tendulkar, the great player from India. On his retirement day, he said that my only worry is that what I will do in rest of my life without cricket. So yes, of course, that when a cricket, a player who is representing his nation, representing his country and playing for the country, it's not an easy thing that you are saying goodbye. And this is what we have watched from Inzamamul Haq when he was going out in his last ODI against Zimbabwe. Definitely he was crying. And of course that everyone was dejected.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, all you gentlemen, for joining us. That wraps up Sports Extra from me and the entire team. Of course, it'll be goodbye for now. But before we go, we've got a very, very special birthday wish to send out from all of us that are joining us on Sports Extra, especially our Sports Extra team and PTV World in general. Our very dear colleague, Mr. Junaid Khalid, has got his birthday today. From all of us, Junaid, a very, very happy birthday to you. We wish you many years of success, joy, happiness and good health, and keep on spreading laughter wherever you are. A fantastic colleague Junaid is. So Junaid Khalid, a very happy birthday to you from myself and our entire team of Sports Extra and PTV World in general. That wraps up Sports Extra. It's goodbye for now.